Hello, welcome back to the railway. And in this episode I want to start prepping the river ready for resin, and I need to just add some more reeds in, make sure it's 100% watertight. So I need to put a front piece in and a back piece in. So before I do anything, I'm just going to get this backdrop off, and then I'll start to put a few more reeds in, and then I want to cover the front and rear part to try and make it 100% waterproof. Fingers crossed it is. Right, backdrop's all off. I'm going to get a few of these reeds. Before I do that, actually I'm going to just put in a little bit of glue. I want to put a little bit more sort of around here and some just off camera. Sorry, I'll move the camera when I come to put those in. And I did find these first reeds that I put in just looked a bit too green, but looking at them with this Woodland Scenics ones, they don't look that much different. And with the glue that I'm using, it should seal the layout as well. Yeah. If I get any stray ones, I'll just vacuum them up like I did before. So anything that's falling over, but I don't want to overboard it, so I'm just going to and all I do is I just take a few. It's quite hard to hold and cut and get to the right length, so it's called tall grass actually. Yeah, I've just added a little bit more. Just put that down there. Just got this last piece, so might as well use that. Might be a bit long, that one, so I can always cut that down once the glue's dried. So I'm going to leave that now to dry. While that's drying there, I'm going to just seal the front. So what I need to do is just get a nice clear piece of plastic over there, and what I'm going to use is what the tunnel mouse came in, these Pico boxes. I normally use what the points come in, but I've got this and it should, so I just need to cut one of the sides out for this side and one of the sides out for that side. I'm neatening that up and all over the place. So I don't need at all that much to I'm going to make it taller than that I need. So, yeah, that wasn't very square. I could measure this, but I'm just sort of doing it on the fly. It's just going under the 6mm on the board there. So, and I do need my ruler now, so I'm just going to cut this properly with a ruler. I've tidied that up a little bit. And I'm going to get this stuck on with, so, you know, just going to glue this on with some contact adhesive. I need to know where to go to. Alright, so I can get some onto the into the right places. I'm just going to pop it on there initially. Drop that off. Now I'll just leave it a couple of minutes, let the contact adhesive go off, and then properly glue it on. Right, I think that should be all nice and easy to glue. I will put a little bit more on the inside lip, so sort of then don't worry about it pouring out. And I will repaint all this front black and paint over the plastic as well once all the resin's in, and I can then trim the plastic off to the height of the river. So that's one piece in. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side, and I've just done exactly the same here. So I want to make sure this does nicely stick. I don't get any leaks. In fact, I'll be a bit off centre there, but it's not quite stuck totally solid yet, so it's good. This is the side that's going to worry me a little bit more. This is not the side of the layout that you normally see, so opportunity to see the back of those buildings. I'm going to let all this glue dry properly and then vacuum up any of the excess reeds that I've got, any of the loose ones, and probably chop a couple of these down because they're very large, you know, so a little person would be only about, so they'll be towering above him. So I'll come back once all this is dried. Probably I'll leave it a good sort of 24 hours. It'll be tomorrow evening before I really can start any more on this. So what I want to do is before I pour the resin, I want to just do a little bit of airbrushing just around the sides, and I'm just using the MIG colours, and this is 0073, which is earth. I've got that in my air gun, in the airbrush I should say, so I just want to go over the banks and sort of dull a few of these reeds down a little bit. It was a bit maybe a little bit too much there. I have watered this down quite a bit, so I think it'll dry a lot lighter, dry a lot thinner. Trying to just put the smallest amount of paint on really. And control it as much as I can. Right, I think that's good enough. It's just to dirty the bank around a little bit and turn them reeds into a little bit of a green and brown as there would be in nature. Okay, it's I think time now to get the depot resin in. I'm going to be using a murky tint as well, so I've got the clear so I can use it for other types of water as well, rather than just buying the murky, and I'll add a few drops of the murky in. One thing I would say is always read the instructions on this. I've done it a couple of times, so I'm going to refresh myself with all the instructions. Now you get your deep pour clear, that's your water base, and your hardener activator. A couple of sticks, a couple of cups. You get the gauges to fit on your cups. I've just fitted this one already, and a very detailed instruction. And also gloves and a bag. Right, and you put the bottles in the bag, put it in hot water, and because you need to warm these up, because if they're too cold you get like crystals in them that you'll be able to see, and it just won't flow. And if it's just been sitting around in the cold, so I'm doing this in the dining room. I've come out of the conservatory and I've protected all the floor, protected the table from any leaks, just in case. I have warmed these bottles up. I didn't put them on water, I put them on a plate and put them on an oil-filled radiator for a little while, and it's just warmed them up enough. So I think that should be okay. Last time I tried it in the hot water, it didn't warm them up. I think it's just because the winter here, and so I had to actually warm them up on a radiator itself anyway, and then it worked fine after that. Right, I think it's time to start. I've read all the instructions, I've prepared everything. Make sure I wear my gloves, and I'm not exactly sure how much I'm going to need, so I think I'm going to mix 210 up, So on here it says you want 140. So let's see if I can. So it says 140, but it goes to 120 to 150. And you want 210. So I'm going to have to do it just below the 150. Would have been nice to have actually had. Let me get a bit of kitchen towel. Don't want to do it on the instructions. I think it would have been nice to have had all those markings on the side. Once you've got your gloves on, it's almost impossible to take off. Here it goes. It's still a little bit thick there actually. Probably needs warming up a bit more. I'm not sure if I need that amount now. Where am I? 50. So if I did 80, I might need to just give this a little bit of a warm back up actually. Yeah, that's not going to work. So before I add the hardener, I'm going to. It needs, from what I've learnt in the past, it needs to be quite runny, and that will not work as it is. It's just not warm enough. So I need to warm that up a little bit more. So give me a few minutes. Right, I think that should be nice and about right. So let's top this up. So I need another. It's 240. That's what I'm aiming for. So 240. I've got 160 in there, and I want 80. So make this up to 240. There we go. Bit left for another go. And now this is a 10-minute stir. So you need to do it for at least this before you put any colouring in, I think. So now you're in with self left. So right, so let me just get this mixed up, and I'm not going to record 10 minutes of me stirring this. We'll come back. Okay, we're back after 1 minute, because I was just reading these instructions and it's saying add the water tint after 1 minute of stirring, so I need to shake this water tint up. Don't knock the deep pour water everywhere. Right, going to add a few drops. $16 drops at the moment. Now this should go quite murky. I've learnt in the past if you put too much in, you don't get the transparency. If you don't put enough in, you still see the bottom. So, but it says use 8 drops to every 30 ml. But if you go on that, you just get this really murky brown. So, I will add a few more drops. And that should, I think, be dark enough now. So now it's another 9 minutes. So we'll be back. And there we go. 10 minutes is now up. And it's mixed up very nice. I can actually feel a little bit of warmth already. So there is a chemical reaction going off. So I think here goes nothing. One thing I have done is just make sure everything was level before I start pouring. I did check this when I put the layout down, so right, let's start. It should all self-level, but I do tend to find that it's nice to move it around a bit. I'm not going to pour too much in just yet. I find this is better to do this with a brush actually, rather than these sticks, so I might find my paintbrush. A bit more under that bridge. And we seem to be need to pour a bit more underneath there as well. I think we're at the right depth that I want, so there's a bit left over at the moment, so right, the good thing is don't seem to be having any problems with water leaking anywhere at the moment. That looks quite good so far. So you'll see some light on there, but I think that's about the right depth. Maybe a little bit more, but don't seem to be leaking here. And how about this end? Seems to be holding all the resin in at the moment. So I've got my aluminium foil. I need another piece, and this keeps the heat in as well. So if it is quite a cold environment, it's always good to put this on. Doesn't really need all of that, but I'll take it off. And also it will prevent any dust settling in there. So I'm going to leave that now for at least 24 hours, and we'll come back and hopefully it's still in there. Right, let's have a look, see if this has all worked. It's 24 hours later. Now the big reveal. Well, yeah, seems to have all worked. I think I probably put a little bit too much in. I seem to have some that's soaked into the grass around the edge there. That's not too bad because I can put a bit of glue over that and then a bit more grass texture and it'll be fine. And now is it all fully set? And I did make, well, with the extra, I did have, I put it on a piece of card, but I did have some left over, and I sort of did test of this, and yes, it's still sticky. So this is all going to need probably another at least 24 hours. So I can't put the waves on or anything like that. I can't tidy the grass edge up. So I'm going to have to leave it at that, and then come back on another video when I come to do the sort of the waves on the layout, and just do a little bit of tidying up. But it seems to have soaked into the surrounding a little bit too much. I've never seen that before, the capillary action just pulled up the resin, but to be honest, I'm happy with that level. I've just, you know, and I'm glad nothing leaked out. And it's just, I'll get you a closer view so you can actually see straight down, but it's just murky enough, and you can just see where I painted at the bottom and everything like that, so there's enough translucent in there. So let me get the camera and we can have a closer look. So you can see what I mean by this is it's just needs tidying up that edge, but yeah, I mean this is a pretty good level of water, I think. I know rivers aren't perfectly still, but it's a good reflection. So I do need to see if I can get some waves on this, just some ripples and things like that. So yeah, and also if I do have a look here and I just press this, I can move it slightly so I know that this is definitely not set, but it's a reasonable level. So I'm happy. I don't know if you can see through the water there on the camera, but you can then see the bottom, but it doesn't really look like the bottom because it's like painted dark in the middle. But I think I need to leave this video here now, and we'll come back and we'll do a little bit more on this later date. But thank you for watching. Hope you have a very good evening and a very good rest of the day. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video.